All right, one of the things that I didn't get to introduce to you, but should be pretty intuitive, is working with overlapping triangles. As you can see, this worksheet says, draw the two triangles separately. That will work most of the times when they really overlap like this. Now, if they're just kind of attached but not really overlapping, I don't think it'll be that helpful every time. And I'll show you what I mean. And then additionally, one of the important things you do is that as you do your drawing, you need to label where things are congruent. And so let's go ahead and get started on this first problem. We want to know, is triangle END congruent to triangle DOE? So this is definitely an overlapping triangle. I want to redraw it. So, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Notice I'm not even using a ruler. Oh my goodness. So I've got N, pretend that's an N, D, E. Now I'm going to draw this triangle right here, D, O, E. Now they tell me that angle OED is congruent, so let me do OED. That means this angle right here, see the E goes with the angle, is congruent to angle NDE. So NDE, that's that angle right there. Now angle DNE, DNE is congruent, so I'm going to put 2 marks. DNE is congruent to EOD, 2 marks there. So I've got these 2 angles, and then they said, is this enough, yes or no? Well, if you look at the overlapping triangle, there's one piece that's definitely the same on both triangles, this piece right here. And we were using something like that before called the reflexive property of congruence. That's the reflexive property of congruence. Go ahead and write that down. And that means that segment DE is congruent to segment DE. So now if you look at this, I have an angle, and a side. Another acceptable answer is side, angle, angle. So these 2 triangles are congruent, but let me make sure that they match. So again, I've got, let's say, angle, angle, side. So angle N is with angle O, and you can see N is with O. There's the angle. Angle D is with angle E, like it says there, D and E. And angle, a side, DE, is congruent with side DE, so I have a side here. So basically, by angle, angle, side, or side, angle, angle, remember I accept good postulates backwards and forwards, yes, they are congruent. On this next problem, you're probably going to find that you can draw 2 separate triangles, but I question how helpful that's going to be. So let's try drawing it with 2 separate triangles. And the reason I would say it's not so helpful here is because the triangles don't really overlap. So first of all, they tell me that DR is congruent with RE. And if I go to my original drawing, go ahead and mark that. DH is congruent with EG. DH is congruent with EG. Are these 2 triangles congruent? If you look at them here, there's no real reason to think, sorry, I forgot my marks up here. If you look at them here, there's no real reason to think the 2 triangles are congruent because you only have 2 sides. But if I look at this one up here, there's another relationship that I can see, one of my favorite pairs of angles, and those are vertical angles. And vertical angles are always congruent. So it's actually easier if the triangles are not really overlapping to use the picture where the triangles are together. So is RDH congruent to REG? Well, let's see. I've got a side, and an angle. Here I have an angle, a side, and a side. Oh! Now, So the question is this congruent? Remember, I accept the postulate backwards and forwards. Do I accept side angle, angle backwards? No, it's not a valid postulate. I won't write it backwards. So we can say, no, we don't know. So side angle. They could be, but we can't prove that they are congruent. Why don't you go ahead and do the back side of the page, and I will have the answers for you at the end of that.